Welcome back, my friends. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to my beautiful rideshare revolutionaries. It's me, Gio, the leader of the rideshare revolution, the rideshare rock star, the captain of the 2K club, and the realest, the funniest, the handsomest, and the beardedest driver on YouTube. My hair is a fucking mess today. Note to self, get a haircut. All right, I just want to talk about a couple things. Wrapping up the Uber versus Lyft competition soon. Let me just first enjoy some of this delicious chocolate milk. I refuse to grow up. All right. As you guys can see, check out these earnings for this week. I do think the summer slowdown is pretty much over, at least in Chicago, because I think every day this week, well, Monday always, but Tuesday, Wednesday, and today, I cracked $100 from 4 to 9 a.m. And I would have done a little bit better today, but I didn't get 2 rematches from O'Hare, so, I mean, beyond my control. But I had 3. I had 1 rematch from O'Hare at 4, maybe 4:10 in the morning, and this gentleman was going to Midway because I guess some kind of delayed flight or something happened. So that happened, but I didn't. My next 2 O'Hare runs did not have rematches, so that probably is the reason why my earnings would have been higher. As you can see, they're $104 today. Not the best, but still, that's for a Thursday morning. I mean, making over $100 is pretty good, and I hit Quest this morning, so I'm at 902 for the week. I should be at 1050 leading into tomorrow morning. So good news for me. All right, I want to talk about how much I made last week. So I told you guys I made 2K last week, and I actually would have, but the amateur squad, Lyft, the side piece, they actually did not come through on a bonus that they were supposed to pay me. So as you guys can see there, my grand total for Uber was $21.86, but take off $4.50 because that was for the referral. And on Lyft, I did, where's my, there it is. And this was Lyft last week. I wouldn't really pay much attention to the hours because I was trying to do, I've been doing the Lyft Lux thing. Oh yeah, a certain YouTuber who calls himself a professor of rideshare. I don't think he knows much about rideshare because he keeps on referring to Lyft Premier as, or Lyft Lux as Lyft Premier when Lyft Premier hasn't existed in 2 months. So kind of doubt how much of a professor you are. But anyway, moving on. I have been leaving Lux on in the mornings when I'm not trying to get the, when I'm trying to hit the guarantee amount, because I did hit the weekend guarantee and they paid out $22 there. So yeah, I'm pretty much leaving Lyft Lux on in tandem to see if I get any pings. Barely any. So, I mean, Chicago, you know how I'm saying like UberX versus Lyft is 65-35? In Chicago, I'm going to say Uber Select versus Lyft Lux is probably like 95-5. I mean, once I get my Select qualified car, I'll definitely be able to show you guys a better representation of that. But I mean, Lyft Lux, you barely get any pings in Chicago. And I've had Lyft Lux on every morning for 6 hours the last 3 days. I've gotten 2 pings. And the only reason I couldn't take it is because I currently had an Uber passenger. So just keep that in mind. All right. So we're going to go into the, I think that's all I wanted to, I haven't donated the tips yet today. I'm going to, So total for last week was 187.55 plus 21.86. Let's just do the math on that. So, 21.86 plus 187 equals 23.73 plus $3 whole in cash, so 23.76 minus 450. 450. So my grand total for last week was 19.26 for about 75 total hours actually driving on both apps. Not the best numbers ever, but hey, you know what? Like I said, I told you guys it was going to be a grind in July and August, and it has been. And like I said, I like to keep my earnings between $1,800 and $2,000 because for me, that's what I kind of want, so I can get out of debt as soon as possible. I mean, honestly, if I keep up this the amount of hours I'm currently working and the amount of earnings I'm making, which I will be making more now that demand is starting to pick up, I mean, I can potentially be out of that car by December rather than January. Maybe even, yeah, I might be done with the payments by November. And I might be in my newer car before the end of the year, which would be awesome. But I want to polish off most of my debt before then, and that includes paying off my current car because I don't want to trade in. Just because trading in cars, especially when we're doing this, you're setting yourself up for failure. So I do not advise just trading in one car for another car, racking up, getting bigger loans, just no. Keep your, take a minimalist approach. Obviously, you're going to need a loan for a car, but don't get overwhelmed. Don't get in over your head. Try to stay within your means, which is something I learned after the last 3 years of debt. Which I've mostly polished off, but I'm rambling, so let's get out of this. So let's go to the Uber versus Lyft in Chicago, shall we? All right. So these are all screenshots from today, and we're going to take count, like always. So this was at 5:01 in the morning. So we're going to go into my notepad so we can take count. So this is Uber versus, okay, that was Wednesday, 5 to 3. Let's say Uber Lyft Tuesday or Thursday. All right. So 5 in the morning. As you guys can clearly see, there's 0 prime time showing on Lyft, and there's a tiny bit of surge in a few different spots around Chicago. So it's clearly Uber, right? So right now, that's 1 point for Uber. So 5:19, I'm seeing a tiny bit of surge on the south side and suburbs from Uber. Not seeing a tiny bit of prime time by the South Shore there for Lyft. You see that right there? So this one, obviously, we're going Uber again. So this one's 2. Right now, Uber's in the lead. This one, I'm seeing a tiny blip of surge from Uber on north side and west side. And I'm seeing prime time. I'm seeing some okay-ish prime time from Lyft, even though I'm going to keep on railing at some for the most prime time is in the water, which just infuriates me, right? So right now, that's 1 point for Lyft. At 7:06, there is a blip of surge on all of the map. And no prime time for Lyft, so that's not. I'm not going to count that. So we're going to go ahead and call this one a draw. This one, sorry, I skipped this one. This was 6. At 6:51 this morning. This must have been on my second O'Hare run in the morning. As you guys can clearly see, Uber is in a few different spots in surge. Some pretty decent surge there on the north side and a little bit on the west side there, like, Bucktown, Wicker Park area, and a tiny bit of prime time for Lyft. So this one's obviously going to Uber. And bear in mind, guys, please, if I'm fucking this up, if these times aren't correct or you feel challenging on them, please do, or make a video and do it yourself. Because like I said, I cannot keep track of this the entire morning. 7:44. Did I skip any time? No. 7:44. I'm seeing some decent coverage from Uber on surge and some relatively decent prime time from Lyft. It looks like it's all in the same areas. So, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and say this one looks about a draw. I mean, I'm leaning towards Uber on this one, but I don't want to be unfair. I'll call this one a draw. 7:57. You know what? I'm seeing some pretty decent demand out of Lyft, but the problem is there's so much more coverage out of Uber. Like, the Lyft demand is all up north, and the highest prime time is in the water. Seriously, Lyft, you got to fix that. That is so amateur. This one I got to give to Uber because I'm seeing some pretty spread out surge, and half of their surge is not in the water. So this one's going Uber. So right now, Uber is leading 4-1. 8:09 a.m. Uber clearly taking this one because there's surge on the south side. There's surge far out west. That's pretty much a suburb right there, and there's surge right there, and much more surge, as you guys can see, spread out around the north side and the west side. And Lyft has barely any prime time compared to Uber, and their highest prime time is in the water. So this one's going Uber, guys. Same time. 8:09 a.m. 8:15, 8:16. You know what? I kind of want to call this one a draw too, even though Lyft's highest demand is in the water. They look like they have about the same coverage area, and so I'm going to go ahead and call this one a draw. 8:26. You know, I want to call this one a draw too, but it does look like there's more. The purple-ish is deeper on Lyft. The coverage area looks about the same, but you know what? I do think Lyft is more in demand at this exact time because, as you can see, it's like that's probably like 125% right there on the like by United Center. So I'm gonna go ahead and give that one to Lyft. Yeah. So right now it's 5-2. 8:34. Ooh. You know what? I'm seeing scattered surge from both apps. This one looks about even to me. I know the times were off because I couldn't get the screenshot of Uber at the time. But this one does look pretty even to me. I mean, minus that little blip of surge there, these apps are pretty identical, right? Yeah, I'm going to call this one a tie. 8:43. I'm going to go at this one has got to go to Lyft. Lyft has more area concentrated for prime time. It's in a few different spread out spots, and the demand looks way higher. So this one at 8:43 is clearly Lyft. 8:48. I got to give this one to Uber. I mean, Lyft's highest demand is in the water, and they got kind of like this mini horseshoe going on here. And Uber's surge is way more spread out and constant. So this one's going to Uber. So right now, Uber's still in the lead. And that's all I got for this one. All right. So for Thursday in Chicago, Uber versus Lyft, Uber wins again. You know, I have to call it. It's official. Right now, we're running out of days in the week. Uber is the dominant app in Chicago. I've been saying it ever since I started driving. I've been saying it for the last year and a half. I'm going to continue to do these until Sunday. Just because I think this is information that I don't really see any other channels going into, and I definitely like to see other market specific channels do this because there's not enough market specific channels on YouTube. I definitely want to see some comparisons. I definitely want to see, because this is something like drivers need. We need realistic expectations. We got to know who's number one, and you know if there's any way to improve this. So as of right now, I'm calling it. Lyft cannot win this competition. This little kind of goofy competition I made up. Uber is the dominant app in Chicago. There's no doubt in my mind. I doubt there's a single driver in Chicago that makes as much as me on Lyft as I do on Uber. So, and as you guys can clearly see, there's more surge, there's more consistent surge, and that's just during the weekday. You know, I sleep during the afternoon, so I can't really update you guys with those pictures. But that's all I got for this one, guys. I'm still going to update these pictures. Tomorrow will be a busy day in Chicago, and the weekend, obviously. So until then, I want to thank y'all for watching. Please stay safe out there, stay driven, stay bearded, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Bye-bye.